All right. Morning, y'all. Nice Sunday morning for me here. Got a little bit of time this morning before we start family activities where we've got soccer and lacrosse and all kinds of crazy stuff going on today. So I thought I would take a little bit of time here this morning and we could talk over building custom controls here for Comet. And specifically, we're going to look at doing the SkiaSharp stuff. The cool thing is that, so we're going to look at it in Comet because it's actually a pretty nice way for me to do some prototyping and stuff like that. And long term as well, like we plan on migrating all of our Aurora controls, which is like a UI controls library that we have, over to Comet, assuming that everything goes through over there, I suppose. you know. But the cool thing about it regardless is that we could do all this drawing out here in Comet, and it's a pretty easy way to get everything shared out. You know what, I'm going to do one thing here really quick. I'm going to pause this for just a moment. Hold my way here. Yeah. To rescale my screen. Might just hit. Perhaps that's a little bit better there. We'll give that a shot. Probably easier to read. Instead of change the resolution on my screen because it was a little high. Alright, there we go. Cool. Alright, so yep, back to here. Like I was saying, we are going to do some looking at Comet, a little bit of Comet stuff, and then we're also going to be doing some looking here at SkiaSharp, doing some custom drawing, and I've got an idea for a control that I want to do. We'll see how far we can get it, I suppose. Otherwise, we've got some other controls that we could work on that might be a little bit easier to do. So. Hey Dan, hey, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, I'm in for streaming whenever, dude. Whenever I could fit it in, I guess. But whenever we can get together to do a stream, I think that'd be cool. It was a lot of fun last time. Okay, so cool. Let's get in here and let's take a look. Weird. Maybe a bug. One of these. These are like missing text on here. Weird. Whatever. At this moment, that is not my problem. We'll figure something out there if we absolutely need to. Like I was saying though, we'll take some time here today and let's kind of mess around with Comet and mess around specifically with doing custom control drawing. Just a quick recap in case you're not familiar with a few of these things. You know, Comet is a new UI layer that you can use to build iOS, Android, like Mac. There's probably UWP and WPF support and maybe even Flutter support. And there's a lot of different target platforms that you could use this to kick out there. But it's basically just a new UI framework that you could use to build out your user interfaces for a bunch of different platforms, all written in .NET. It's MVU pattern for drawing or for managing your relationships between your data and your user interface. And then It also has first-class support for Skia, so which is cool. And Skia, again, if you're not aware, is sort of a drawing library that's a cross-platform drawing library. It's what things like Chrome use. It's also what some other platforms out there use. So if you've seen like Flutter before, I know Skia is kind of at the heart of a lot of their drawing that they're doing out there. So, but it's really cool. I'll just pull up this sample because it's kind of neat. Allows us to do custom control drawing, like you can see out here. And animate it and do all kinds of cool things, like a lot of 2D type drawing. So what I thought we would do here today is just kind of walk through what it takes to set up a new control out here in Comet, and then we'll set up a control and we'll do some custom drawing in there and maybe build just like a simple control. Like I said, I've got some ideas for some controls that might be visually kind of interesting, I guess, but again, we'll just see how much time we end up with here and see how far we could take it. So, all right, so with that, let's go ahead and we can start messing around here. Let's kind of pin this because we'll be going back and forth here a ton. Messing around here. Oh, let me grab. There we are. With getting our new control set up. Hey, thanks for host, Dan. Appreciate it, man. Cool. Let's get this set up here. All right. So, if you're familiar with Xamarin Forms, typically what we would do if we wanted to make our own custom control is you start off with a definition for your control. And we do the same kind of idea here for Comet. I've got my own project out here, like it's just going to be a separate project. This could be your own custom project, whatever it is. It's not super important. It's just a separate, net standard project. But what we need to do first is we need to create, the definition for our view. I need to figure out like what I need to call this. I think this is kind of what I want, like exactly. I just want to make sure, like, I want server. But I've got an idea. I don't know exactly what to call it though. We're just gonna call it like call this control light waves. Got this idea for like kind of like a pinwheel, or I'm not exactly sure, like a starburst kind of idea where you've got sort of a center point in the control and it's going to shoot lines out of it, and then in between those lines we're going to fill in colors, and then maybe we could even see if we can get it to animate or do something cool like that. We'll see how far we can get it. We'll just call it starburst for now. That's fine. And for here, like I mentioned, we have to make this definition for a view. So we're going to say this is going to be a view out here. Let me see, we should have something come up for Comet. Blowing Comet, I guess. I feel like that looks good. Build successful. Okay, so it's just Visual Studio being funny. Uh-oh. Visual Studio is being very funny. Let's close the solution and just try to reopen it. Sometimes it'll do this. I was thinking the same thing. I was searching for Starburst and I was like, man, I haven't had a Starburst in a long time. There we go. Right, and so this view here is really just going to be it's sort of a definition for what we want our control to do. So, yeah, kind of like the beach ball of doom. That's actually kind of the idea that I'm looking for here. How's it going, Sean, man? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that's definitely kind of the idea. What we need to do is, for that definition then, we're going to add some properties to it. So I'm just going to snag this code as just some starter code for us here. And we're going to have, we'll say like, we're going to have a binding, and then we'll do a color. And I think we've got like a Comet color. Yeah. And we'll call this color. And I guess we'll just say like, background color, and that'll sort of be like, we'll alternate colors. And we'll just refer to this one as background color for now. Maybe, I don't know, we'll come up with a better name. And then we'll do foreground color. Right, so let's just do cool. Get our background, our foreground color. But you'll notice here though is like again, this is sort of just like a view definition. It's kind of just like a, you know, like an object or a description of what we want to do in the view. What you'll notice here is that we're not actually our intent, our long-term intent for this, at least right now, is that this is going to be drawn using Skia to actually do the rendering. But we're not, at least right here, going to do it. There are ways that we could actually do it through the view, and I've actually talked to Clancy about this a little bit. And I think if you have truly just like a control that's just going to be custom drawn, we could actually do it straight from here. But I kind of like the separation between the two, where we have the definition and then the implementation. It's kind of a nice little separation here. In this case too, like if I ever need to do some kind of weird platform-specific wiggle room fix type thing, I could take this view here and maybe implement it separately on a different platform. All right, one of the other things that we could do with these controls then, and I'm just gonna, again, just snag some stuff here because it's a little bit easier for me to do this, is we can supply a constructor that's going to require us to provide some values for it, right? So, and the way that this is going to, the way that this is used then is then with Comet, as our properties change or get evaluated again, we could use those to have it update and redraw the control. All right, so we'll just do a color here, and we'll call this foreground color, and then we'll just do another one for our background color. Hopefully everyone's having a good Sunday here if you're joining now. I know pretty good day yesterday. I went and hung out with some friends, and we did played some pinball and stuff like that. So that was pretty fun. Oops, let me come back out to here. Right, and we'll just say and this is also a framework that I'm still pretty new with here, so be a little bit slower than I normally would be. But we all got to learn somehow, right? So, all right, so we're gonna have our foreground color and our background color here. And like I was mentioning, so we kind of have two parts to every UI control. And you can see this is a pattern. If we look at sort of outside of our own control here, if we take a look sort of at Comet itself, you'll see that what we've got out here are our controls folder. And all these are basically going to be definitions of different types of controls. You know, so what does it take to make a progress bar? All right, well, maybe at a minimum, I just need some kind of a value, right? Just tell me where I'm at in the progress. Maybe I've got a, you know, and there's some other things that get inherited from here. So there's actually some more properties, but at a minimum, you know, a progress bar probably just needs to know its progress. Or if you look at like a button, right? I probably need some text for the button, and then maybe an action to be mapped for when it gets clicked or something like that, right? So when actually somebody interacts with it. So that's the actual like view side, or that definition side. The other side of everything then is going to be the handler side, and the handlers are going to be what's in charge of actually doing the implementation of this view. So if we come back out here, and you'll notice like in the core Comet project, I don't know if there's any handlers in here per se. I don't believe that there is. Yeah. But if we were to look at the platform specific Comet projects, let's say like Comet iOS, for example, and go to the handlers here, you'll see that we've got a whole bunch of different handlers out there for those controls, right? And the handlers are really the glue that pulls it all together. So the handler will have this definition. Again, it's similar to like a renderer, if you're familiar with Xamarin Forms. It's similar to the concept of a renderer. I do like this. It's like a pretty nice and pretty straightforward way to do the implementations of them. It's a fairly straightforward way to do it. So we'll take a look here in a second. Right. But basically what you're going to say is you'll have your abstract handler. In this case, you'll have this abstract handler. You're going to tell it like, hey, it's going to be a button, which is sort of my view definition. And then UI button is my implemented component. So this is the component that I'm looking to build or to back or to provide the implementation for this button control. Right. Got some couple of methods in here, things like create view, right? So this is where we instantiate it all. Dispose view, which is also like, I really like how clean this is. Sort of, here's where you set it up, here's where you shut everything down. You know, especially on mobile, us being very conscious of memory utilization, objects that are hanging around and stuff like that is super important. Excuse me. So we just want to make sure that we can clean all this stuff up here and just get everything appropriately handled, right? So if we're moving these controls off the UI, are we cleaning up all of our resources and doing all that cool stuff? The other things that we're going to see in these controls then, or in the handler then, which is pretty cool, and I also like the design of this, is we're going to end up with a property mapper, and I'll just kind of rewrite this a little bit just so we could read it on the screen. And so the property mapper out here, what you'll notice is it's essentially like it's going to say, hey, or the intention of this is whenever one of our properties changes on our controls, what we could do here is we could define what we want to have happen when that property changes. So for example, with the text one here, so if I have this property mapper for text, as the text of the button changes, what it's going to do, or you know, in our definition, you know, in our view definition, for our button out here, as the text out there changes, it's going to raise that notification that it's changed. And then we're going to subscribe to that notification here using this method called map text property. And so if we take a look at that, you know, you can see it's just a straightforward, a fairly straightforward component that's going to give us our view handler, right? Here's our current view handler. Give us our virtual view, right? That would be like our button definition that we'd have out here. And then what we could do is we could take our native view, and then we could do whatever kind of updates that we need to it, right? So, hey, set the title. Hey, thanks for the follow there, Gregor. We could take that current value of the text and we could update the control. And which is really, you know, again, I think this is really cool because it's fairly straightforward. It doesn't require a lot of like, oh, hey, when we're first setting up this control, we need to make sure that we call a bunch of methods out here to do like initial setup or anything. When your control is first made, it's basically going to run through this property mapper, and I think it just calls all these, calls all the methods that we've defined out there in the mapper to go do their first time setup. And so it's pretty easy to maintain these going forward, which I think is, pretty neat. So it's pretty easy and nice for us. All right, so we need to do the same thing then for our starburst control. And I've just got a handlers folder out here, and we're just going to add in a new class out here. And we'll call this our starburst handler. And we've got since we're doing Skia controls, we've got a Skia abstract control handler. We're going to tell it the type of view that we're implementing. And so in our case, it's going to be that starburst view, our virtual view. And let's go implement some of this, right? We need to give it some accessibility text. And for right now, we'll just say name of... You know, if we had something more descriptive for this control, we could probably return a better string. We just don't have anything great at the moment. Okay, so to get started with your control, this is really all you need. I mean, this isn't going to do much. It is a control, you know, but it's really, we're not going to see anything on the screen. It's not super helpful from there. But once we have these created, then the next thing that we need to do is we need to register them with Comet so Comet knows what to do with them. And in fact, there were some new bits just added, and I would like to take a look here. Let me see. Registration. Does this work? Let's just add it in here. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think we can call these. I've kind of got, right now I've got a setup that's got some older control style stuff in it, but I think, let's see if we could reach out to here and do some, we can modify this. So actually I've got some code out here. We'll see, we may add that back in. Comet.skia internal registration. Comet. Internal registration dots. Which one do I want? I want this one. Register. Registration. Register. I think that's right. I don't know why it's complaining about it. Oh, it's because this is called registration, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's freaking out about that. Yeah, take it easy, Dan. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. We'll call this Comet dot. Comet.skia does not exist. I feel like that's maybe a lie. I'm just gonna call this aurora.comet, and we'll call this init. Let's rename this. See if we can get this going here. Oh, it still doesn't like this one, huh? Comet.skia. What am I doing here? Comet.skia internal. No? Weird. Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know what's up with that, but that's okay. Let's undo this. We could just do it this way. This is sort of the older way, but I'll figure out what's up with the other way. There's a better way to do this. Essentially what we need to do though, kind of where we were starting off with this here, before I kind of got on that tangent a little bit there, sorry about that, is we need to register with Comet our controls. And so inside of there they have this registrar. And the registrar is going to be who knows about our individual controls. And so we need to register handlers with it. We could look at, let's look at like another implementation of this really quick here, just to kind of give you a feel. And it's our Skia. Where's our Skia? Skia. Comet. And we'll just do Android here. And you'll see that what they've got out here is registrar.handlers.register. And they've got this stuff internally, so it's a little bit more straightforward to them. And it should be really straightforward, I think, in the long term. Like I said, we've got some new stuff to make this better. For some reason, something just not loading up right there. So what we need to do basically is just tie these two things together with Comet. So we're going to say registrar, handlers, register, our virtual view, and then our implementation of that view. Okay. We need to do that same thing for our own custom control out here as well. And you can see, again, if we were to look at, like, this is just the Skia implementation for inside of Comet. You can see that basically they've got, it's a little bit more complicated here, but the idea is that they're saying they've got this SK button. It's a Skia button definition. It can replace, in this case, because we have these three definitions here, we're saying that the Skia button can actually supersede or replace the built-in button, or whatever we're doing with our built-in button. And then the third parameter there is the handler. Again, who's going to do the drawing for that button and all that kind of good stuff. So let's go ahead and let's do that for our new starburst out here. So we're going to say it's going to register our starburst. Our starburst handler out here. And then let's go ahead and let's add it to a UI. Let's make a real simple UI for this so we can start drawing. And then we should be ready to start like doing the fun stuff. So let's go find a, where's our samples? Cool. Come out to Comet samples here. We need to find, I think it's like main page. Yeah. And we'll just copy this out here and we'll say starburst, and we'll call this starburst test. Can't go to that definition because it doesn't exist. And let's just go, let's copy one of these ones. Save us Aurora starburst. Cool. And we'll do our, oops, starburst here, and that doesn't have text like that, so we'll just go ahead and create this one. We've got it in vertical stack, though I don't really know that we need that, so it's just kind of, we'll get rid of that. And we'll just make the body itself just be I know it's a little silly, but might help for some readability later on. Okay, so I think we got everything that we need. So if I run this now, I should have my Comet app up and running here. Starburst test. What did I do wrong? Oh, Aurora starburst. Cool. All right. Perfect. It's beautiful. Ship it. We've made it. But here's the thing. So, right, that was like relatively painless to get this set up here. All we did is, again, just to kind of recap quickly, created this view, added some, we basically came through here, added some properties to our virtual view, or that view definition, right? And then we created our view handler out here, which is going to be in charge of doing the work for our view. We registered it really quickly. So I just did this quick registration out here. And again, it's just kind of doing some work down below here, adding it to our register types. To just go and say, like, for our starburst, use this starburst handler. Okay. Now, here's where the magic starts, I think. We'll see. Everything's going well. And everything's working right for us today, is we get to start hammering through this guy, this handler, and just kind of keep on live coding, which is very exciting. Definitely very exciting for me. So we'll go ahead, we'll say draw. So we've got a couple, you'll notice that we've got a couple of built-in overridable draw methods out here. So things like drawing the background, borders, overlays, because it essentially it means like, hey, every control is going to have the ability to do some of these things out here, which is cool. In our case, though, we're just for right now, maybe we'll standardize some of these things and we'll pull them out into pre-built methods and things like that. But for right now, we're just gonna go to draw. In draw. Draw's purpose is just to give us a canvas to go draw, right? So what we could say out here then is we'll say canvas.draw. We'll say draw color, and I think we could just draw our background color, right? So we're going to have this dot. It's our, let's see here. I have the name of the control that I need. Let's look at an example because, again, still pretty new to this, so getting my bearings here a little bit. Let me close some of this stuff down. Take a look at another Skia example here really quick. There we go. And we'll look at like the slider handler because I know it's got some good stuff going on in it. We need to look at, I think it's our typed virtual view. There we go. Cool. That's the one we want. Typed virtual view dot background color. This is a Comet color, so we need to do two. Does this have a... We have something we could do like that. Now, let's see. How's he getting the colors mapped out there? There should be like a... Yeah, 2 SK color. Let me see if there's maybe... What else am I missing out here? Comet, internal. Wonder that. Let's see where that comes from. Do not have an SK color available to us. Comet.skia. Yeah. SK color. Binding. Oh, do I need like the value? There we are. Got it. And I should, again, I think if everything goes right, we should be able to have that filled in. Our control right now I don't think has any size assigned to it. So we actually haven't provided any size to it. So let's go ahead and we'll override. We've got a... Get intrinsic size. And for right now, we're just going to have the thing fill up all the available size that it has. So just return. Right. Let's see here. Anything? Uh-oh. My virtual view, who's dying out here on me? We'll see. Maybe we'll just restart it really quick. Maybe I just got something silly. Maybe it's got, let's see. Doesn't like that. I wonder if I don't have... Maybe we just need to add some defaults in there. We'll do... Try that. Maybe I'm just missing some default values. Okay, so my current value, is null, right? So maybe I need to give that like a default background color out there. Let's see. So let's do that. You know, and I probably don't even need to just stop and run this again. It's just such a habit. Let's see, how do they do it? How is he doing it out here for some of these ones? Because I know some of these have default values. Let's see what we got out here. Go to our slider. Okay. So maybe we'll just do it that way then. We'll just do, instead of binding like here, we'll just say, because we probably don't, wonder if we don't need to even have to have that as a binding. We'll just do, let's try this. Again, I'm still learning on this a little bit too. The Comet stuff's definitely new to me, so we'll just say, I guess we'll do, what's a fun starting color? We'll do red. That must be a compile time constant. Alright, well, we'll just let it be whatever it comes in as then. Default. Oh, okay. Then we have to assign a color out here. That's cool. So we'll say color dot red and color dot. We'll do, for some more contrast, we'll do, for some more contrast, I'll lose my keyboard. If it's back, there we go. There is, I got this like new keyboard and it's pretty nice, I like it, but on the Mac, every once in a while, it'll just stop picking up keys. I have to like unplug it and plug it back in, which is weird. It only started happening with the Catalina update, so. It's one of those features, you know, to like, tell you to stop using things. There we go. Cool. So we've got our background color there, and you can see we're filled. All right, let's come back here because we were kind of messing around there a little bit. So we'll see. Again, like the cool part about this is I could just comment this stuff out, and then it will pick it up like automatically. So this is where it starts to get kind of crazy in that, you know, I could say, let's do that, or hey, maybe I want to manipulate this size, and we'll say like, oh, you know, this is really a new size F, and let's see, maybe my width is available size, that width, maybe we want that to be the same, but my height is available size dot height divided by 2F, right? And we should picking it up, or is it complaining? What do we got going on here? There we go. We got it to pick up. Now you can see it was pretty easy for me just to go in there and hack around that, so it's kind of neat. And I don't know. Let's just go. Let's just keep it like that for right now. I think that's fine. Like I said, we're going to do some custom drawing, though. And so whenever we're doing drawing for... actually, let's do the whole thing. Return. But whenever we're doing drawing for Skia, you kind of have to think of it like painting on a like an actual canvas a little bit, right? So you, what you end up doing is you start off with like this base canvas, we draw on top of it, and then we keep on adding like layers of paint or layers of color on top of it, just like you would if you were, again, you know, painting on a real canvas out there. And so for us, what that means is that we're just going to start off with drawing like a color out here. It's weird. I wonder what keeps on like losing that. That's sort of weird. That's okay though. We're going to just sort of do like, you know, again, if we think of the Bob Ross style canvas painting, we're just going to start off with, In his case, it would be titanium white. In our case, we're just going to do this background color out here. And we'll just kick that into our full canvas. It's just sort of our starting background. I think we're going to end up manipulating it, but I think that's okay for right now. The next thing that we need to do is we need to figure out our foreground color that we're going to paint on top of it. And we're going to need to paint this kind of like I said, like that. I think we're going to do like a starburst type pattern. So let's go ahead and let's make a new paint object. Calls foreground paint. It's going to be a new SK paint. So the paint object in SkiaSharp is sort of what you use to control like how the pixels get painted, I guess. You know, you could kind of think of it a little bit like your brush with, you know, if it's got paint or ink on it or something like that. It's kind of like that concept. It's not perfectly analogous to it, but it's sort of like that concept. And with our paint object, then what we could do is we can assign the color that it will use for when it paints. And I could say foreground paint dot color, and then we'll say this dot typed virtual view foreground color current value to SK color. Cool. And again, if I wanted to just validate it quick, I could say canvas raw paint, and I would say foreground paint here. And for some reason, again, I don't know why, we keep on getting it kind of like blanking out on us there, but it seems like we just go back and get it to reload it. We got it there. That's pretty neat. Like I said, though, we kind of want to do that starburst pattern, so let's figure out how we can actually draw that. I was thinking about this a little bit this morning here, and I think what we'll need to figure out is like the max distance from the furthest corner to the center, right? So if I take sort of one of these corners, what's the max distance? Because we're going to need to draw like a radial around it. And at most, it's going to need to be one of these corners in size to figure out how we mask things off. And so it's been a little bit since I've had to do this. So we're going to see if we could fumble our way through here. And we'll say that's our, so dirty rectangle, meaning, you know, the idea here is that when you're drawing on a canvas, sometimes you don't need to redraw the full canvas size, you know, because redrawing the full canvas can be pretty expensive calculation to do. And so sometimes you just want to draw like in a particular piece of the screen and just have it update that piece. I don't know that Comet, at least right now, is smart enough to tell us like, hey, this is a full repaint or, you know, partial repaint. So we're just going to treat everything as being a full repaint, you know, and consider this dirty rectangle to be that full intrinsic size that we've defined out there previously. All right. And, you know, I guess if we were really concerned about it, we would probably need to just do something like, you know, if we weren't sure that this was the full available size, you might want to call into get intrinsic size or do something like that to to get that information if you really need to. But for us, like I said, we're just going to treat it like it's the full available area that we have to us for our control. So I'm actually going to convert this into a Skia rectangle. We'll say like canvas. Call this canvas size out here. The Skia rectangle is neat because it's got a bunch of built-in calculations for it. We'll say canvas size, and one of them, let's see if we could find center. Let's see, what do we want to get here? Middle, right, standardized. Location. One of them should give us a length calculation. Let's see. No, that's our offset. Let's see again. Size, standardized. What was it, rectangle? I don't think rectangle F has the location, does it? Or not the location, the maybe it's maybe I gotta get the center point. We'll do. It's okay. We basically need to find the length or the distance between this point here and the center point on our screen and sort of our longest distance, right? So we'll say canvas size dot. Maybe I just need to make a var equals. I wonder if maybe I've got some extension methods that I'm not pulling in here. Spelling helps. See, maybe there's a... No? That's good. So say center. There we go. This is kind of what I was looking for here. Length squared. I think it's length squared that we want to get the actual distance. So this is our max distance. See, and I think if we do length squared, it's from like 0, 0 to here, which I think is what we want. So let's see. And we'll say, instead of just drawing that paint there, we'll say we'll do draw a point. This might be tough to see, but that's okay. We'll say center. And we'll do our foreground paint. Might be really hard to see. Go back. For some reason, again, yeah, it's usually pretty good. Now that I'm seeing that there. Let me try. Wonder if Visual Studio is just being silly. Let's just try killing some stuff off here. When in doubt, burn it down a little bit. Bring it back. You know, some of the stuff's still pretty new tech, so I'm not too surprised that we're getting some issues here, but it's usually pretty good. Had pretty good success for what I've been playing around with it here. So let's go ahead and let's give it another shot. Hey, Ralph Unit. Thanks for joining. Weekend's going good. Had, like I mentioned before, went to go play some arcade games with friends yesterday. Stopped by a party. Had sports all day today. Right, let's go take a look into here. Weird, it's like not even, not getting my breakpoint either. All right. Okay. To see, we'll try to draw something bigger. Draw circle. Give it a point. We got that. My radius, I don't know, let's do like 4F. Weird. Oh, it's drawing it. So there we go. There's our point. There's center point. And then I think we're going to want to make a path. We'll say so crazy. That's right, though. We're going to need to make a path out here, and the distance is basically going to be our max distance out here, and we're going to kind of draw it radiating from the center point. Right, so we'll say equals our SK path. Path. Add. We'll say what will be the best way for us to do this? Let me think through this for a moment here. We're going to add... We'll do this first. Let's figure this part out. I wonder if there's probably not a more efficient way that we could do this. We could say... Draw a line, and we're going to go from our center to our other point. So our point here, I think, is going to be, we're going to start at least new SK point. And we're going to say our X is going to be our center.x, and then our Y, in this case, at least to start off with, is going to be 0. And our paint is going to be our forward around paint. Weird. Wonder why. Wonder was there we go. We kind of got our line out here, so that looks good. Like I said, we kind of want this to radiate out. Keep on radiating out. Think about the best way that we could do that. So I could use that as a starting point and then go to the left and to the right of it. And perhaps that would be okay. Think about this for a moment. We'll say maybe we need to have like a size that we need to supply it. So we'll do like for number of segments maybe we could do, and we'll just divide that by 360. Be good here. Weird that keeps on coming back to white. I wonder if I like... It's gonna be weird, but... Put all this stuff out? Does that help at all? Not really. Still get that like that, huh? Interesting. Okay, that's okay. Figure out what's up. Wonder if maybe take a break here in a moment and just kill it and reload it here to kind of get that drawn again. All right, so we've got our line out here, so we know that's how we could draw up and to the right. But I think we probably want to make that into a path. So let's do, back on our starburst here, let's say something like, hey, thanks for the follow there, Luins. Let's do something like an int. And we'll call this int. We'll call this number of segments, like segment number. Just segments. That's probably good enough. Segments. That's how many segments we're going to break this into. And we'll give it a default. Say 4. Okay, so okay, so segments here. I should be able to do something. I'm comment that out for a moment. So we're going to say, so we are going to go from, let's say, take a start. Sorry, just thinking through this stuff out loud here, so apologize. We want to draw like an arc. Say path. I wonder if I could do. I think I could do it with a path. Add an arc. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have all right, let's try this. We'll see if we could just well, that's arc 2. See if we can add an arc. So there's starting angle and our sweep angle. Okay, let's try this one. Our oval is a rectangle. So I'm gonna guess. Okay, so we'll do new. Okay. New rectangle, and this is going to be, I'm guessing that the first two are like our center point. So we're going to say center dot x, center dot y. And then I'm guessing it's to control the rest of our size. So I think that's going to be our max distance twice here. We'll find out. Okay. So now what I think I could say is, so let's see here. We're going to take our segments, right? So we need to get those. That's going to be our number of segments, and we want to take, it'll be our segment step is going to be 360 divided by our segments, right? Because if we do that, get like get like 90-degree segments out of this. So then I think what I could say is for and I don't know if this is true of how we're reading this out, but you'll notice right here, I'm going to take that current value and just assign it to a local variable. I haven't spent a bunch of time digging into how the binding stuff works, but at least on like forms, for example, is that these values that are out there, actually this would be, I do this lowercase, do this uppercase. The backing values out there for like a bindable property, for example, are going to be read out of a dictionary, which is pretty quick. But if we're going to do it multiple times, it could end up being a little bit slow out there. So we don't want to just continuously do that. So let's see if we could do this, and we will do, let's see how this goes. So we're going to do, our start angle is going to be our segment step times I, and then our sweep angle I think will just be segment step. Now I think we want to do every other one, so we'll say if Math.add arc. Let's see. We're going to do this kind of a little bit of a grosser way to start off with here. And we're going to say we'll optimize this here, but I think this will be a little bit easier to read, at least a little bit easier for me to understand in my head as I'm doing this, is we'll just leave this like this. We'll see if this works. And we'll say if I mod 2 0, or I could just modify this, right? I could say, let's call this one paint for now. Paint. Paint color is going to be if this. Alright, so we'll do our background color here. And we'll still do this as paint. Okay. And we don't need to pre-assign that color, at least for the moment. Segment step. We'll do it like that. I could probably do a better way. Like I could probably just change the incrementer out here, but that's okay. This will probably work. And we'll say canvas.raw path. Again, I don't think this is the most efficient way to do this, but we'll see if this works. Paint. Okay. Let's draw. No. Let's see what happened here. Can we breakpoint on this guy now? So let's see if I do my, where's my starburst page? Get that pulled up here. Make this like 8. Save that guy. Am I in here? Oh, sweet. We're finally back. All right, so our segment step here is 45 degrees, which is what I would expect. Color out here. It looks like my foreground color, so my path. Arc, let's see. Maybe we should look up add arc, see what that one's doing, because I don't honestly know. So we're going to go take a look at did I see, what's that length of the max distance? Oh shit, that is big. That is a lot larger than I thought that was going to be. Maybe we don't want exactly that. What do I want here? If I get just the regular length, this is probably what I want. This is a little better. That's more like in the realm of what I was thinking of. Right, what's the problem with that is that's double. Maybe a float. Round up here a little bit. Oh, we lost it again though. Let's see. Let's come back. Oh, here we go. Not exactly what I was trying to do, but that kind of looks cool. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see. That's center Y. Center X, center Y. Let's see. Wonder if that arc though is not. Where we really want to be on. Yeah, add the arc. Okay, I think I know. Okay, right. Maybe we want to do arc 2. Appends an elliptical arc to the current point. So maybe. Yeah, because I think we just drew our arc out here, which is kind of interesting. I wonder why we didn't start out here. There's probably because that's how that's drawn that. Let's see. Right. We're just drawing the arc part there, and that's not really what we want 100%. That's okay. Let's go look. There's a... Yeah, cool. Let's see if we could just do exactly what we want to do here. So move to path, move to center. Okay, let's do exactly this. Arc, and he's got our... What's the rectangle here? Center minus radius. Center. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, let's try this. This is more like what we want. So path dot move to, and this is going to be our center. And what do we have next here? This is our... So we need the rectangle, which is basically our center minus our radius. Okay. Let's just make our... Now we'll do the same thing here. Our rect equals new sk rect. And heck, it's probably going to almost be the exact same code, so why don't I just snag this from here, honestly, and just not have to rewrite all that. And our radius here is going to be... Let's rename this one. I think that's kind of what we want. Okay. Okay, and then what do we have out here? That's going to be our rectangle out there. Then what do we have? Yeah, he's doing this here. Start angle, sweep angle, which I think is good. And he's given it a third parameter here, so let's take a look and see what that's about. Fourth parameter. So add, or does he do an arc 2? Arc 2. Was it to close? False. And then it was path dot close. Hey, better. This is kind of what we were looking for here. Go up, arc over, draw down. Up, arc over, draw down. Sweet. I like that. And we should, you know, the cool part about this then too is realistically, if things are cool, I could change that to 16. Sweet. You can see it happen in real time. So that's actually cool. That's this is kind of what I was looking for here. So that's happy with this. That is cool beans for sure. All right. Let's see. Let's get crazier. 32. Sweet. Awesome. That was not that bad. You just have to be competent at drawing, and clearly I've shown that I don't have that competence today. So, but luckily for us, we've also got a ton of really good reference code that we can fall back onto. So let us go back here. All right. What would be neat with this, I think, is if we can get this to animate. And honestly, the animation stuff, I've kind of sort of looked at it briefly, but I'm not super familiar with what it's going to take out here for us to get that animation kind of fully in. Stretching. So let's go take a look at some animation. I know that there are some animated controls out there already, and I think from what I saw of the animation framework, it's pretty cool. But I'm just, like I said, I'm unfamiliar with it. So let's go take a look. I know we've got there is a sample animated Skia control. Might be this one. Okay, here we go. So begin animation sequence repeats through. And okay. So perhaps what we could do with this. So we're saying here our SK text color in animation sequence. All right, let's add to our starburst. Let's add a another property that we'll call this animation. Make this a float, and we'll call this rotation offset? I don't know, it's not great, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Naming stuff is like really tough. Call this rotation offset. Oop. It's choking on something, but that's okay. Yeah. 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 We'll kill that for a moment. Do rotation offset. I guess this value here needs to be clamped. Is there a default? Isn't there like a math dot? What? Where's clamp? I guess we can make our own. Wonder if wait, is like clamp not built in? All right, that's okay. Let's do we'll make our own clamp with gambling. All right. What would a clamp be? Math dot max. So we're gonna use this to control the degrees. Max rotation offset degrees. I don't know. Still don't love this name. So the max can be 360. Otherwise, it's like a math min of like negative. And is that a clamp? Will it clamp? F. Okay. And we'll try that. And then what we'll do is we're always going to offset our segment step plus. So we're always going to do that plus and we'll just pull this out again. And this will be our goal. And that's just be 0 to start off with. Alright, and we'll see what we can do with this. Got our starburst here. Didn't like that. What happened? Default constructor not found. Okay. Maybe that was my issue the whole time here. Again, we're still kind of getting familiar with Comet. This is probably not like also the best way to do this, but it's okay. We missed one. So he's gonna miss our last one now, or is it because we've got like wonder if we've got like a rounding thing going on here. Let's see. Yeah, button 4. Got that. It's maybe just like a rounding error type thing. Cool. All right, so now what I think we could maybe do, and this is kind of where I want to go with this. I think I closed it, but that's okay. Let's go and get so the color here. Let's see. SK text. That's an extension method. Snag this for a moment. See where we can go with this. So we're going to say begin. I don't even need an animation sequence, honestly. Duration. Repeats. Well, let's see if I can just call into animate here. We'll new that up. Now can I call dot animate? Cool. We're gonna say X point. How many degrees do we want to go every time? Uh-oh. Oh, we've caused some trouble. Oops. I should have probably looked at that, huh? What, null reference views. What do we do here? Delay repeats. We are going to set this repeats. Auto reverses. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what we're doing here. Duration 1, they're just changing it to this color, changing it to that color. All right, we'll run this. Let's see if we can find out what's choking out here. Pop a breakpoint on that bad boy. So that my current value is 360. I do. I backwards this. Might have backwards it. Let's see. We'll just pull this off for now. Done. My view. View is animation parent. Animation is. Create animation came back as null. Weird. What would cause that to be null? No properties changed. It'll return a null. So if it doesn't think that any properties happened out here, it's going to return a null animation. Okay. Maybe we could just write this differently. Begin animation sequence. Text.color. Setting like an environment variable on it, so it's using like these pre-built ones. Starburst, let's see, we're gonna tell it to, or if I'm just doing this wrong. So. Again, rotation offset. So what am I doing here? You don't like that. Let's take a look. What doesn't it like? So here, you do figure out why animation doesn't work. That's funny. didn't even notice that until now. So let's see. Even this one's not loving it. Like I said, maybe we could do this animation block thing. So his. Okay. Let's see. Our color, we're going to tell it to animate. He's got to send the background color to that. Do it 3 times. Auto reverse repeats. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts. Probably new for just about everybody, right? Animation sequence. Let's see. Setting the text color again. It's doing it that way. It's text. This is setting the background. It's doing that. What's this actually sets the color. Is this environment variable for the view? What does that actually do underneath the sheets? Let's property sexual. Okay, so it's binding of. Yeah, I think this looks like about what we want to be doing here. Let's see. Double does not contain a reference. Oh, okay. This is going to be. What is the. Double does not contain this. Okay, so how do I update this? So that's probably. If I wanted to update this one, dot set, do that. Okay. This is where we're getting over our skis, clearly. Let's see. So we should get an animation of animation. All right, let's try this one. Just with animate. Again, we're learning here, so you know. Station offset degrees. The current value. That is func, blah, blah, blah. Just want this to get reset when I update. So again, like I said, this is new. what I was hoping, be able to update some of this stuff here in our animation. Let's just go see, you know what we should do? Go take a look at references for this one. Okay. Toggle. So like set environment seems to be the one. That is the way. Okay. That's okay. That's cool. I think we could probably listen to that up here. And yeah. So let's just I think that's probably the way that we should be doing this, I guess. Where's that happening out here? Is that in the handler? Const string. Toggle progress. Gonna be a set. Oh, you know what? This is like exactly what we want, actually. Set state. Progress animation. Cool. Okay. Okay. Cool. P is our toggle handler. And just call him animate. Animate that to 1. Set environment to 1. Okay. Gonna make some environment here. Okay, that's cool. So let's do that. Although, probably fine. Sorry, I know I'm kind of talking to myself here, working this stuff out, so it's probably not the most exciting thing ever, but still learning how to do some of this stuff out here. Let's have this set state. Binding.set. Can we do that? All. Maybe this is the better way. Maybe this is a fine way to do this too. X dot. Plus. I wonder if I could do it this way. Maybe this is going to get me the same thing. We'll just say here, turn off auto reverses. Say if say we'll try this. We'll see how this goes. We'll say if greater than 360. See how thinks it doesn't like it. What doesn't about it here? Surety 4. Action. Maybe I need to give that like a... Guessing if I just set that to like a value, or like a converter that's supposed to take this thing from like the operator, like a new, yeah, because if I give this like T, let's take a look at toggle. Binding. Okay. Let's see, so set binding, blah, 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 blah. Let's run this one more time and just see where it's dying. Oh, let's see here. There's our stuff. Let's see. Here. Not have a setter available to it, I'm guessing. Does not have a setter. It's just a value. Clonk is value, so what would be the right way? It doesn't look like it's getting used. Well, okay, it is getting set there. Oh, so if the binding's not null, otherwise they set the state this way, which is the current state is and so they're using that environment variable otherwise. Okay. Well, that's fine. Although I feel like I don't want that to be exposed. So I guess I would probably do something like set progress. I guess I put that on. Does that go to my handler? That's set state. Let's see who calls this one. Gotcha. So map. So we got a little bit of like, so it looks like what this is using is another dictionary to manage that. Which I guess we could use. I'd like to just do something like as cheesy as possible right now, just to kind of get this working, right? And then we'll nice later. Finding of load. Equals. I wonder if we could just get away with doing something like this for now. I wonder, I don't know if this one has a default letter to it. Still my old one. Current value. Good, no current value. I need to, again, I'm probably doing this the totally wrong way, and I can imagine. This is probably yelling at me right now. That's okay. I apologize to you if you're watching this. Let's see if this does it. And I'm just trying to cheese my way through here. I realize that there's seemingly better ways to be doing this stuff, but we'll see. Can we get this animated? Everything up. Do I have... Okay, well, let's just make a whatever. I think we could kind of cheese our way through this. We're gonna say, let's see if we can. We'll say private float. And yep. Otherwise, you are going to get X and that probably. Again, I don't really think that this is the right way to be doing this. But I think it is the way that I'm doing it right now. Okay, so there's degrees. Does this have... Will it set? Got it. Ugh. What happened here? My parent is no. We're back to that one. Where our parent is null. So if I assume that I did appear, assume that the body's already been called. See if that gets us here. Maybe at this point in time, the body will be set, you know, the parent will be assigned to it. We can actually do that animation. Almost, let's see. Oh! It's not even... Dang. Let's take a look at create animation. Let's see why. I assume changed properties. Must be what's happening here. Right. Stop monitoring, so it's going to try to do our action. Okay, let's take a look through. I'm going to rerun this. It's like monitor changes. Hey, I want to listen to property changes. Go do your thing. Hey, did any of my properties update, and let me know which one's updated, right? I think that's what this like block is saying. I'm interested in property changes. Go do your thing. What changed? Right? My mind. Up. Up. Return value. Do that. Bonk. Value. No. What are we missing here? Guys, I'm probably doing something silly. And again, I don't really totally know that this is the right way to be doing all this. It sure doesn't feel like it. So, I think that's what we're missing out here. I feel like we're so close. So close, yet so far away. Let's see, set bind to property. Blah, blah. Toggle. So that has like this set state. And they're ending up piggybacking on this like entirely. So this is an environment piece. So maybe we could just, let's see if we could just do lines. Okie doke. Try and do it a more right way. Alright, so let's see here. We're going to have our progress animation. What did we hit? They've got a method called set environment key value. Okay, so this dot set environment will say this like is no. Toggled state, we'll see. And I say this dot set environment. So all that progress animation. So that's a progress. What else we do? Right, and it's going to be our property mapper. Okay, let's do this. Here, we're going to use that property mapper. So, property mapper of our first. And we'll use our regular mapper, plus we'll tack on some stuff. So, like star burst. Station offset in degrees. Just like this mapper. So copy that. And that's here. Map. That's gonna be map. That freeze property. Set in progress. It's going to be our virtual views. Maybe our virtual view. Let's see what we got here. That's station offset degrees. And I guess if we don't have it there, we're just going to set the... Okay. So now, so we have our set environment for that one. Then I think we're going to be like... get environment as a float. Progress animation. Maybe that's the one. And let's see. Now I wonder if set state. Now this is actually animating internally here, so I wonder if wonder if we'll want to do that here or not. Maybe this doesn't matter. We just reassign it. Pipe mapping figured out there. Now let's see what happens here. No change property. Dang. What am I doing that I am being silly about? Again, let's go see how this gets called. So set state. Is on blah 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 blah. The binding event. Well, let's go. Is somebody using a top? All right, so let's do for a moment. Let's just pull that off here. I wonder if this was my problem the whole time. Right, I really want this to do. Maybe I should consider not trying to do language learning on a Sunday. What do people think? After a full work week, I'm not sure that I got the mental capacity to be doing some of this stuff. But still fun. Okay, so now I wonder, so if I do this, like if I change this to 4, 8. No? Let's see. Alright, so if I change that to 10. Okay. Okay. See, it didn't call set. Oh, because I don't think I set that. Duh. Set this mapper here. I gotta do this in base. Call. This is for property mapper, so null and there we go. So now, like, I think if I do 1, we do 20. Yeah, looking better. Now, what I would like to do, leave that. I would want to say dot animate again. Action is x dot think about that now. Still nothing. So you're still gonna choke out, huh? Did calling that though? Get it to call into here. I don't think. Alright, we're gonna do a poor man's animation. We'll see what happens. This is not recommended, by the way. This is me not knowing exactly what I'm doing with this animation stuff yet, and with doing a custom control, and I gotta figure this out. So, wonder if I have to call it on a UI thread too, but uh, 17 milliseconds. Watch me kill the UI thread. I wonder if this has to be pumped out on the UI thread, or if I could just do it like on any thread and it'll figure itself out. Might. updating. Something, something, something. Yeah. Those updates are not pumping back. So I wonder if I have to... I wonder why. I thought I told it that when... this gets called, that you should get called. Nah? Maybe that still doesn't trigger it to do anything, though, per se. I'm missing here. Getting that mapper there. Of toggle is on. Yep. Now here should be me telling it to go do a thing. Again, let's kind of follow this up the stack for this. Look at this is map is on. Review handler mapper out there. This one doesn't. Raw mapper. And we're mapping out here to listen for that current value. And there we're just doing a draw, right? Okay. Okay, so our Skia one again should be doing the same type of thing. If I were to come out, yeah. Standard handler out here. We set up, this is our draw mapper, which is, I do like Skia control.draw mapper, which it probably is already doing anyway. Guessing if I give it null in there. It's doing that twice. Don't even need to do this. Can be null. Alright, but why aren't I getting my rotation offset degrees pumped through? Here we go. We got it like that one time. I'm not seeing it continuously get called out here. Even though I believe, right? Hmm. Guess I'm a little bit perplexed on this one. Wonder if it's something that I am missing something so obvious on. Just not getting a value from it. What are we missing here, y'all? It doesn't think it has any bound properties on it. Tell me nah, dude. You're wrong. You. Right? Okay, let's give this a shot. Which, Alright, that's a bummer. I was hoping we'd be able to get this going here. Got a setter? No. And there is something I am missing that I fear is blatantly obvious, but that I am just whiffing on here real hard today. I feel like this should... No? I'm not sure. This is weird. Yeah, I was hoping that we'd be able to get this binding going, but I'm just going to have to monkey around with it. I must be doing something... something dumb here. I'm having a hard time figuring it out, so... yeah, we're pretty much out of time. I gotta take off here in just a moment. Man, I can kind of make it happen, right? If I do it manually. I think if we just sit out here and I could, you know, I could say, it'll get that to call. I could just, out here, 16, 32, 40. For some reason, I can't get that animation block. I can't get that thing to set and just update there. Maybe I could... You know, there's another way we could do like some state stuff. It's like state. state stuff. Let's see. It's just a regular property there. Okay, we'll say, all right, let's see if we could do this. We'll say state of your rotation here. And then, yes. We'll do a rotation there and we'll say, something like that. What do we here on this guy? No, we're just saying get the state, get the current state, and just drop that. So state.text. We're doing click count. I gotta say click count.value. Say only, okay. Do snag up. Maybe this will do it for floats. Floats. Station value. Maybe here we say value plus equal. Maybe we could do that. Maybe this will do it for us. See. Yes, we've done it. Look at how cool that looks. Not ideal, but I was looking for here. Cool. Should be able to come in and do all kinds of fun things now, like 16. Almost. I'm not sure what happened there. That's cool though. So this is neat to know. So we're actually doing this update off of the UI thread, but it's still getting marshaled back and making sure that those state changes get pumped through on the UI thread, which is cool. Go. That looks good. Get a object. Once exception. Time we did that. Yeah. Something good going on there. Binding change. Yeah, there's probably just some totally goofy stuff happening just because of the way I'm doing that. But cool. All right. I'm happy with that. I'll take it. I'll take it as a win. We had to meander our way there. But we got to it. Got our animated sample. We got our little starburst happening. Which, I don't know. Yeah, I'm all cool with all that. I want to dig in there a little further and see what we could do to maybe make that a little bit cleaner, but that's all right. Happy with that, too. But cool. All right, well, I think we'll probably leave it here for today then. Took us a while to get through it. Like I said, we're still doing some learning on our side. Like, I'm in no way, shape, or form a Comet expert. I got to learn MVU, I got to learn Comet and all that stuff. But we were able to get our way there eventually. And yeah, this looks pretty nice. I'm happy with this. This is really where I wanted to end up. I thought we would just get there a little faster. Clearly, I've got some learning to do on my side and how we get those changes pumped through, but I think we're in pretty good shape here overall. I have kind of a starting point. All right, with that, I think this is probably where we'll shut it down for today. So thanks again for everybody who joined. Hopefully you learned a little bit here about some Skia drawing and got to see me fumble my way through Comet, right, and do some learning out there. But, you know, overall, like actual implementation, kind of the last thing that we'll do here. Just kind of do like a quick review. I mean, the overall set of stuff that we did is pretty straightforward. A couple of properties for our virtual view here. Some setup stuff. We've got our handler out here. And I wonder, is this actually getting pumped into here now? It is. Cool. That's cool. Solid stuff's actually working like I kind of hoped it would. Pumped in out here, doing a little bit of drawing out there for some Skia stuff, right? So we're just kind of drawing, moving to and drawing some paths out there, which is pretty good. Again, I know we could definitely optimize this. This is fairly well non-optimized. So we could clean this up a bit, but I think performance looks okay out here for right now. And then, yeah, kind of got it bound up and created a sample page where we're just doing some work out here to get this going. I wonder if I could. Thanks for Unit, Ralph Unit. Thanks there. Bogus Law, Blonsky. Sweet username. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. I'll probably mess around with this. Maybe we'll just continue on with this, and maybe we could pick up here, and if I figure out what I'm actually doing right and or like figure out what I'm doing wrong, we could take that and just kind of keep on running. With that, hope you all have a good rest of your weekend, and yeah, if you're watching this at a different time, good rest of your day, and I will see you all soon.